We made a bunch of pepper relish the other day. We made a double batch of sweet pepper relish and a single batch of hot pepper relish. The recipe is identical, except you just swap out an amount of sweet peppers for hot peppers. In this case, a single batch calls for 7 pounds of sweet peppers, and we just use 6 pounds of sweet peppers and 1 pound of hot for the hot pepper relish. Some of the video you'll see is the double batch, and some of it is the single, but the recipe is the same and all the techniques are the same. So as I do this, I'm going to give all the measurements for a single batch. So if you see in the video that I'm doing a double the amount, don't panic. We have 6 pounds of bell peppers, approximately 3 pounds green and 3 pounds red. And this is 1 pound of assorted hot peppers. This is for the hot pepper relish. If you want sweet, just use 7 pounds of bell peppers. And if you want it hotter, just use more hot peppers and less sweet peppers. Don't be afraid to experiment. You need approximately 3 pounds of onions. Yellow or sweet, it doesn't matter, whatever your preference is. The recipe originally called for yellow onions, but we use either. Also, you want to cut them into pieces that'll fit down the chute of your grinder easily. And then you want to take your peppers and remove the stems and seeds and cut them into pieces that'll fit down the chute of your grinder. Now we're going to run them through the grinder. And if you're using a KitchenAid grinder, you want to use the disc with the 5/16 inch holes in it, which is the larger disc of the two in this picture. Now run everything through the grinder, alternating onions and peppers every once in a while. And we like to hang a napkin off the chute, because as the vegetables get ground up, they often splatter out through the holes there, sometimes 2-3 feet. So hanging a napkin like this will save you a lot of cleanup later on. I forgot to mention we ground everything into a 6-quart pan. And then we took it over to the kitchen sink and poured it into a strainer or colander, and then squeezed out most of the water. Put the ground onions and peppers back into the 6-quart pan, and then pour in enough boiling water to cover the mixture. Put a lid on the pan and let it sit for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, pour it back into the strainer and squeeze out most of the water. Now you can dump the onion and pepper mixture back into the 6-quart pan again. Spread it out kind of flat, and then cover it again with boiling water for a second time. Put the lid on it again and let it sit for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you want to pour it back into the strainer and squeeze the water out of it again. But this time, you want to do a really good job of squeezing the water out. So take a small plate and put that on top of it and push down on it and use that to squeeze the water out. It'll do a better job. And then just let everything sit in the sink draining while you make your brine. In your 6-quart pan, mix together 2 cups of sugar, 1 pint apple cider vinegar, and 1 cup of water. Now add 1.5 tablespoons of salt. Now you want to add 1 teaspoon of dry mustard powder, 3/4 teaspoon of celery seed, and 3/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Now turn on the heat and mix it well. When the sugar is just about completely dissolved, add in the onions and peppers. Put on the lid and bring it to a boil, stirring occasionally. And once it comes to a boil, turn it down to a simmer. Leave the lid on it and let it simmer for 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. After it simmers for 15 minutes, take it off the heat and ladle it into sterilized hot canning jars. Put on your lids and rings and process them for 15 minutes. We're using a steam canner to process these jars. You fill the base with water to just below the rack. You put your jars in, put the lid on it, turn the heat up to high. When steam comes out the vent hole on the side about 8 inches, You turn it down to about medium high on our stove. You want that steam to keep coming out 8 inches. You don't want it any less than that. And as soon as the steam comes out 8 inches, you start your timer. And you, like I said, you process them for 15 minutes. And when the time is up, shut the burner off, but leave the canner on the stove for 5 more minutes. And then you can take out the jars and put them on a towel on the counter and wait for them all to seal. This recipe makes approximately 6 pints of relish. That's all I've got for today. Hope it works out for you. Good luck. Bye. By the way, the 1 pound of hot peppers to 6 pounds of sweet peppers made what I would describe as a medium hot relish.